Hello everyone, today we are going to get spooky. No, this is not a Halloween episode, nor are we focusing on scary movies or anything like that. Instead, we are going to focus on something that was a key feature of Gothic architecture. Have you ever wondered why some cathedrals and buildings have those creepy monster-looking things staring at you? Those frightening creatures are called gargoyles. But before we dive into looking at some of these gargoyles, it is important for us to first understand what a gargoyle actually is and why so many Gothic cathedrals have them. Gargoyle is derived from the French word gargouille, meaning throat. This makes sense when you look at what the definition of a gargoyle is. A gargoyle is defined as a waterspout, projecting from the upper part of a building or a roof gutter to throw water clear of walls or foundations. So these creepy looking things actually serve a purpose besides just scaring the bejesus out of everyone that walks past them? Take a look at these videos and you will see I'm not lying. That monster actually was doing something productive. It's a gutter system for the cathedral, just in the form of a frightening creature. It gargles up that water and spits it down at the commoners. You gotta admit, it's a lot cooler looking to see the water pouring out of the mouth of a creature than just running down the boring old gutter. Now that we know that a gargoyle is a water spout and have seen one in action, we need to clarify a few things. If the demonic looking statue does not serve as a water spout, it is not a gargoyle. These functionless statues are known as grotesque. You can tell the difference based on the idea that grotesque typically lack an open mouth or another place for water to exit. Take a look at these two images. This first one here has the spout. It's a gargoyle. This one has a closed mouth. No water spout. It's a grotesque. Now there's also these things called chimeras. These are sculpted creatures that are a hybrid of two or more animals. You see how this one is part lion and part winged animal. Chimeras can be gargoyles if they serve as a drain gutter too. I'm sure you must be wondering what other things gargoyles can look like. Well, good. I'm glad you asked. In ancient Egypt, gargoyles typically took the form of lions, as shown in these two images. Animals in general were common. Other times, they were just mythical or imaginary creatures, as shown here. Some gargoyles were intentionally sculpted to look like pagan gods as a way to attract non-believers into the church. Here's an example of that. Look at that creepy looking guy. Others had human faces and were modeled after real people like local parish priests. The earliest gargoyles were made of wood, while medieval Gothic gargoyles were typically made of stone. The later gargoyles were predominantly limestone and marble, but sometimes metals such as lead was used. In general, the gargoyles were typically carved on the ground and only put into the building as they were being finished. Okay, so now we know what they looked like and what they were made out of, but there's still this question of why. Why would the sculptor choose these creepy looking monsters to be on the outside of these gorgeous cathedrals? Well, the honest answer is no one is exactly sure, but there are sure plenty of theories out there. Some say the gargoyles were said to represent dangers from which the church would protect the faithful from. Others said the hideous creatures were meant to protect the church from evil, maybe employing the demons to do this necessary work of draining the church's roof shows Christ's triumph over the forces of Satan. Or maybe the demon-like creatures had the intention to scare the common person into the church, praying, and living a pious life. All of these theories are plausible, though none of them have gained full acceptance. Personally, though, the theory about being scared into the church makes my head hurt. Excuse me, I'd much rather enter a building if it was covered in pretty flowers and cute little bunnies. But who am I to judge? But seriously, this or this? So now, let's look a little more closely at some of the most famous gargoyles. We are going to go way back to start. The oldest gargoyle is located in Turkey. This gargoyle is 13,000-year-old stone crocodile. 13,000 years old. Now, I couldn't find a picture in it, nor could I visit Turkey, so we'll just have to believe it's real. But really, I'm 20 years old and I feel old. Imagine being 650 times as old. The crocodile has been through it all, literally been part of most of human history. Now, we're going to look at the Temple of Zeus in Greece. This temple originally had 102 gargoyles. Many were so heavy that they eroded and snapped off the building, so only 39 remain today. You see about 3 of them here. Only 39? That's still a lot of creepy monsters to have staring at you. On a more serious note, as most of you are aware, the Cathedral of Notre Dame in Paris was on fire recently. Now we are here to talk about gargoyles, but I couldn't go straight into talking about the gargoyles on this cathedral without talking and mentioning the devastation that resulted from the burning of this building, as you see here in this image. Okay, back to the gargoyles. The Notre Dame construction began in 1153, but the gargoyles on this cathedral were not added until the 1800s. However, the sculptor perfectly designed them to look like they came from the Middle Ages. The most famous of the gargoyles from Notre Dame is known as the spitting gargoyle. It is shown here. But joke's on you guys, it's actually a grotesque and not a gargoyle. As you guys have seen, there is quite a lot of variety of what these gargoyles can look like. But I think we can all agree, most of them are quite creepy looking. Probably not something you would use as a welcome decoration on your front porch. But if you're looking to win a Halloween costume party, going as a gargoyle may be a winning option. Okay, that's all we got for this episode. Just remember, if it's raining and the statue isn't gargling on you, it's not a gargoyle.